Last year, I opened the chest of a 67-year-old man whose arteries looked like concrete pipes. He was on 4 blood pressure medications. 4. And his pressure was still dangerously high. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't ignoring his health. He was doing everything his doctors told him to do. And yet, there he was, on my table. But here's what nobody told him, and what I'm going to tell you today. The answer was sitting in his kitchen the entire time. 5 simple things. No new prescriptions, no side effects, just food. Working the way food was always meant to work. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to do, starting tonight. Let me tell you something they don't always explain at the doctor's office. After 60, your blood pressure doesn't just go up because of stress or salt. Something deeper is happening inside your arteries. Think of your blood vessels like a garden hose. When you're young, that hose is flexible. It stretches, it absorbs pressure, it handles the flow. But as you age, the walls of those vessels start to stiffen. They lose their elasticity. And a rigid hose can't handle the same pressure a flexible one can. That's when things start to go wrong. Now here's what makes this personal for me. I've spent 30 years as a cardiac surgeon. I've held human hearts in my hands. I've repaired arteries that look like they belonged in someone 20 years older. And every single time I ask myself the same question. How did it get this far? The answer, more often than not, is inflammation. Chronic, silent, slow-burning inflammation in the walls of the blood vessels. You don't feel it. There's no obvious symptom. But day after day, year after year, it quietly stiffens and narrows those vessels. And your heart has to work harder and harder just to push blood through. So why does food matter so much? Because what you eat 3 times a day is either fighting that inflammation or feeding it. Every meal is a decision your body makes about your blood pressure. Most people don't realize that. Their doctors don't always have time to explain it. That's what this video is about. Not replacing your medication. I want to be very clear about that, but giving your body 5 powerful tools that work alongside whatever your doctor has prescribed. Tools that in many cases, I've seen make a dramatic difference. Sometimes within days. Are you ready? Let's start. Here's a question for you. When you sit down for dinner tonight, what do you reach for first? If you're like most people, it's the bread, or the potatoes, or maybe a bite of whatever's closest. I want you to try something different. Something that sounds almost too simple to be real. Eat your vegetables first, before anything else on that plate. Every single meal. Now I know what you're thinking. That's your big secret? Hear me out. When you eat vegetables first, the fiber in those vegetables forms a kind of mesh in your stomach, a physical barrier. And what that barrier does is remarkable. It dramatically slows down how fast sugar from the rest of your meal enters your bloodstream. Why does that matter for blood pressure? Because every time your blood sugar spikes sharply after a meal, your body releases a flood of insulin. And that insulin surge causes your blood vessels to constrict, to tighten. Right there at the dinner table, your pressure is going up, and you have no idea it's happening. I've had patients who change nothing else. Same food, same portions, same medications, just the order. Vegetables first, protein second, carbohydrates last. And their post-meal blood pressure readings drop noticeably within 2 weeks. One of my patients, a retired teacher, 71 years old, called it the easiest thing I've ever done for my health. She wasn't wrong. So tonight, before you touch the rice or the bread, finish those greens first. Every bite counts. Now let's talk about something that's been sitting in your pantry, possibly for years, doing nothing. Apple cider vinegar. 1 to 2 tablespoons. A glass of water. With every meal. That's it. I can already hear the skepticism. And honestly, good. Healthy skepticism is what keeps us from falling for nonsense. So let me show you exactly why this works. Because there is real science behind it. The active ingredient in apple cider vinegar is acetic acid. And acetic acid does 2 very important things for your blood pressure. First, it improves insulin sensitivity. Remember those post-meal blood sugar spikes that squeeze your blood vessels? Acetic acid blunts that spike. It helps your cells respond to insulin more efficiently, so your body doesn't have to release as much of it. Less insulin, less constriction, lower pressure. Second, And this is the part that genuinely excited me when I first read the research. Acetic acid stimulates the production of nitric oxide in your blood vessel walls. Nitric oxide is your body's natural vasodilator. It tells your arteries to relax and open up. It's essentially doing what an entire class of blood pressure medications tries to do, naturally, for about $3 a bottle. Now, one important caution: don't drink it straight. Always dilute it in water, at least 8 ounces. Undiluted vinegar can damage tooth enamel and irritate your esophagus. Use a straw if you can. And if you have any history of stomach ulcers or acid reflux, have a conversation with your doctor before starting this. But for most people over 60, this is one of the simplest, safest additions you can make. 1 glass with breakfast, 1 with lunch, 1 with dinner. Give it 3 weeks and check your numbers. Have you ever tried apple cider vinegar for anything? I'd love to know in the comments what you've heard about it, what you've tried, what surprised you. Let me ask you something. Do you check your blood pressure in the morning? Most people do. But here's what almost nobody talks about. What happens to your blood pressure while you're asleep? For many people over 60, pressure doesn't drop the way it should during the night. It should go down. It should give your heart a rest. But in a condition called nocturnal hypertension, it stays high, or it spikes. While you're lying there, completely unaware, your heart is working overtime. Your arteries are under stress. And you wake up the next morning feeling tired and wondering why. Nocturnal hypertension is one of the most underdiagnosed and dangerous patterns I see. It's linked to a significantly higher risk of stroke and heart attack. And the troubling part is this: your regular daytime readings won't catch it. You can have perfectly acceptable morning numbers and still have a serious problem happening every single night. So what do walnuts have to do with any of this? Quite a lot, actually. About 30 grams, roughly 14 halves, eaten 30 minutes before bed, has been shown in multiple studies to meaningfully reduce nighttime blood pressure. And here's why. Walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. They also contain melatonin and a compound called L-arginine. Together, these work to relax blood vessel walls, reduce vascular inflammation, and support that natural nighttime pressure drop your body is supposed to make. Think of it as a gentle signal to your cardiovascular system. It's time to rest. Stand down. 30 grams, 14 halves, 30 minutes before bed. Write that down. It's one of the simplest things I recommend and one of the most consistently effective. Now I want to tell you about a flower. A deep red flower used in traditional medicine across Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East for centuries, and that modern cardiology has finally caught up with. Hibiscus tea. 3 cups a day. If you've never heard of hibiscus tea, you may know it by another name: sorrel, carcaday, or simply red tea. It has a tart, cranberry-like flavor, and it is remarkably powerful. Here's the science. Hibiscus flowers contain compounds called anthocyanins and organic acids, specifically hibiscus acid, and these compounds act on your blood vessels in a way that is strikingly similar to a class of prescription medications called ACE inhibitors. You may have heard of ACE inhibitors. They're among the most commonly prescribed blood pressure drugs in the world. What they do is block an enzyme that causes your blood vessels to constrict. Hibiscus does the same thing, naturally, without the cough that so many patients complain about as a side effect of the medication. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that drinking hibiscus tea daily reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 7 points in adults with mildly elevated pressure. 7 points. That is clinically significant. That is the kind of result that makes doctors take notice. 3 cups a day, hot or cold, no sugar, or very minimal sugar, because sugar will work against everything we're trying to do here. A small spoon of honey if you need it. That's perfectly fine. Now, one important note. If you are already taking ACE inhibitor medication, please talk to your doctor before adding hibiscus tea regularly, because combining a natural ACE inhibitor with the pharmaceutical one can push your pressure too low. That's not the goal. We want balance, not overcorrection. But for most people, this is a beautiful, simple, genuinely pleasurable habit. A warm cup of red tea in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. Your arteries will notice. What's your tea of choice right now? Let me know below. I'm curious how many of you are already helping your heart without realizing it. I want you to walk to your kitchen after this video. Open your cupboard. And look at what oils you have in there, because what I'm about to tell you might be the most important thing in this entire video. And it's also the thing that food manufacturers have spent a great deal of money making sure you don't fully understand. Most of the cooking oils that line supermarket shelves, canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6 isn't inherently evil. Your body needs some of it. The problem is the ratio. For most of human history, people consumed roughly equal amounts of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Today, the average person consumes anywhere from 15 to 20 times more omega-6 than omega-3. 15 to 20 times. And that extreme imbalance drives something that every cardiologist and cardiac surgeon dreads: chronic systemic inflammation. Remember that slow-burning inflammation in your blood vessel walls we talked about earlier? The kind that stiffens your arteries year after year? Excess omega-6 from these refined oils is one of the primary fuels feeding that fire. Every time you cook with canola or soybean oil, you are adding inflammation to your cardiovascular system. And here's what makes it worse. These oils are unstable at high heat. When you heat them to cooking temperature, they oxidize. They break down into compounds called aldehydes, which are directly toxic to blood vessel walls. You can't see it happening. Your food doesn't taste any different, but the damage accumulates with every meal. So what should you use instead? Two things: extra virgin olive oil for everything that doesn't require very high heat, salad dressings, light sautéing, drizzling over vegetables. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in oleocanthal, a natural anti-inflammatory compound, and in monounsaturated fats that actively support healthy blood vessel function. Decades of research back this up without any serious debate. And for higher heat cooking, real butter. Yes, I said butter, not margarine. Margarine is made from the same problematic vegetable oils we're trying to eliminate. Real traditional butter from grass-fed cows if you can find it. Used in reasonable amounts, it is a far better choice for your cardiovascular system than the refined seed oils most people are cooking with every single day. I know this goes against what many of you were told 20 or 30 years ago. The butter is bad, use vegetable oil message was everywhere. I heard it too. But the science has moved on, and as a cardiac surgeon who has seen inside thousands of chests, the evidence points clearly in a different direction now. Check your cupboard tonight. If you have canola or soybean oil, you don't have to throw it away immediately. Just stop buying it when it runs out. Replace it with extra virgin olive oil. That one change alone, over 3 to 6 months, can make a measurable difference in your inflammatory markers and in your blood pressure. I want to stop here for a second, because I think something important needs to be said. You just heard 5 things. Eat vegetables first. Apple cider vinegar with meals. Walnuts before bed. Hibiscus tea 3 times a day. Replace the wrong oils. And I can already predict what some of you are thinking right now. This sounds too simple. If it really worked, my doctor would have told me. I understand that reaction completely. I had it myself early in my career. But here's what 30 years of opening chests and repairing damaged hearts has taught me. The most powerful interventions are almost never the most complicated ones. The body is not looking for complexity. It's looking for the right conditions to heal itself. And here is what genuinely shocks me, even now. Every single one of these 5 strategies works through the same fundamental mechanism: reducing inflammation and improving blood vessel flexibility. That's it. That's the whole game. 5 different doors, all leading to the same room. The man I told you about at the beginning, the 67-year-old with the concrete arteries. After his surgery, I sat with him and his wife for a long time. We talked about all of this. Every one of these 5 things. He made every change, slowly, carefully, in conversation with his cardiologist. 6 months later, he came back for his follow-up. His doctor had reduced him from 4 medications to 2. His inflammatory markers had dropped significantly. His pressure was stable, genuinely stable, for the first time in years. He looked 10 years younger, and the first thing he said to me when he walked in was this: "Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner?" That question stays with me. It's part of why I make videos like this one, because the information exists. The research exists. But somewhere between the laboratory and the doctor's office and the patient sitting at their kitchen table, it gets lost. You are sitting at that kitchen table right now, and you have everything you need to start tonight. Not tomorrow, not after your next appointment. Tonight. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Let's bring this all together, because I don't want you to leave this video with a list you'll forget by tomorrow. 5 things, 5 changes. Let me say them one more time, clearly. 1. Eat your vegetables first at every meal, before the bread, before the rice, before anything else. 2. 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water with each meal. 3. 30 grams of walnuts, about 14 halves, 30 minutes before you go to sleep. 4. 3 cups of hibiscus tea every day, hot or cold, minimal sugar. 5. Replace your canola and soybean oils with extra virgin olive oil and real butter. That's it. 5 things. No exotic supplements, no expensive equipment, nothing that requires a prescription. Now here's what I want you to do right now. Before you close this video, pick just one. Not all 5. Just one that feels easiest for you tonight. Maybe it's the vegetables first. Maybe it's ordering some hibiscus tea. Maybe it's checking that oil cupboard. Just one. Start there, because sustainable change doesn't come from doing everything at once and burning out in a week. It comes from one small decision, repeated consistently, until it becomes invisible, until it's just the way you live. I've seen this work. Not in theory, in real people, in their 60s and 70s and 80s, who decided it wasn't too late to give their body better tools. It is never too late. Your blood vessels are remarkably responsive. Give them the right environment, and they will respond. I'd love to know, which of these 5 are you going to try first? Tell me in the comments. I read them. And if this video helped you or someone you love, please share it. There are people in your life right now who need exactly this information and have no idea it exists. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Every week I bring you honest, evidence-based information that I wish every one of my patients had access to long before they needed surgery. Take care of your heart. It has been working for you every single minute of your life without asking for anything in return. It deserves this. One last thing, and this is important. Everything I've shared today is general information based on current research and my clinical experience. It is not a replacement for your personal medical care. Please do not stop or reduce any medication your doctor has prescribed without speaking to them first. Bring this information to your next appointment. Have the conversation. Your doctor is your partner in this. And these 5 strategies work best when they work alongside proper medical supervision.